Hey everyone, so we're about to get into our review of Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash, the comic book series. It is a sequel to Freddy vs. Jason, but first, we got to tell you a little bit about Manscaped. And it doesn't involve using these blades, but it does involve using blades. So, we're going to get into it.
Of the more professional variety.
Indeed, of the more professional variety. So, Cecil Fuego. Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about this, okay? So,
Please inform me, sir.
Have you heard about Manscaped?
I have seen many amusing ads with talking shrubbery.
Talking shrubbery. Well, Manscaped is the only men's brand dedicated to below-the-waist grooming and hygiene. Mm-hmm. And they've actually just released the world's first manscaping kit that is both safe and easy for everyone. And it starts off, it's called the Perfect Package 2.0 kit.
Oh boy.
And it starts off with this little bad boy here, which is the Lawnmower 2.0. Okay? I'm going to show everyone this real quick. And this is a waterproof, USB chargeable, cordless little device here that you can take it into the shower and use it if you'd prefer to use it there. It's got 6,000 RPMs on the motor, and it's got skin-safe technology, so you're not going to nick or snag yourself. So you don't have to worry about that. So it's got the nick your sack, send it back guarantee. So definitely something to check out if you want to make sure that you are groomed for yourself or for the ladies or the men's. You know, hey, this is not a judgy piece of hardware here. You can live however you want to live. The trimmer is waterproof and cordless, and when you charge it, you get a full hour's worth of actual battery life.
I was about to say, that is some extensive shaping and manscaping.
Indeed. Well, if you're down there, you got to take your time to do it right. Now, it is TSA approved, so it's travel friendly. And when you order the Perfect Package 2.0, you're going to actually get a bunch of other goodies as well. So the first one...
What would those include?
The first one is this. It is the crop... I want to make sure I get this right. It is the... the crop preserver right here. So it's the crop preserver. I guess I could have just read it. But it is the ball deodorant. So you might ask, why do you need deodorant for your balls? Well, if you're putting deodorant under your arms, imagine if you want to get the stinkiest part of your body as well. So
yes, I guess a wishful thinking on a date, so to speak, but nonetheless, you never know.
And then
always best to be prepared.
In addition to the ball deodorant, you also get the crop reviver, and this is a ball toner, otherwise known as a body toner spray. So after you do a little bit of manscaping and you make sure that it's all deodorized, you can revive it with this toner here. Make sure it's contoured to your body.
It brings a new definition to the term "how's it hanging, man?"
It basically it soothes and refreshes your skin after the process.
I'm all about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is actually like borderline, you know.
Anyway. It's useful for sure. Now, when you get everything right now, if you get the Perfect Package 2.0, you also get the Manscaped High Performance Boxers here. So they'll send you it in the size that you have, but that way you have a nice set of boxers to keep you fresh after you've done all of your manscaping.
It makes me curious about the specific aspects of those boxes and such.
Now, when you get the Perfect Package 2.0, you get the biggest bang for your buck if you become a subscriber. So if you do, you're going to get 25% off your order just to start. You also get a new replacement blade for your lawnmower every 3 months. So you never have to worry about it getting soft on you, so to speak, and risking your nicks. Indeed, yep, your ladies don't like it when you get soft on them.
Not at all.
You get exclusive access to this bad boy here, which is the Plow 2.0. Oh, I just dropped it. Oh, everything came out.
Whoa.
Just grab the blade in the box, and that's all we really need here. I dropped it. It's
I
so hot, it jumped out of my hands.
I got the blade in the box.
So inside the box here, it's going to give you... It's going to give you your little mirror, and you can use that to hold it downstairs while you shape the edges with this newly designed, contoured, ergonomic blade here.
I was going to say, that's like borderline like porn star shaping to that degree.
A little bit, a little bit. There's one more blade behind you. Would you mind grabbing it? because these, yeah, don't want to let blades
those are all
sit on the
separate
ground.
blades.
Yep. So it comes with 3 blades for you to use this for an extended period of time. And then finally, when you order everything, just so you know, you use my code HORROR20. You're going to get free shipping on your order. And then they're also going to send you this lovely Manscaped bag right here.
Yeah.
So you can keep all of your stuff together.
Yeah, all your rats, dentist, toiletries and such, you can house them, and that's a beautimousness.
And you can take them with you, travel friendly, all that good stuff. So I'm going to drop this bad boy back in the box with its bag. And so just remember, guys, get 20% off plus free shipping from your Perfect Package 2.0 purchase when you use promo code HORROR20 at manscaped.com. So go get yourself shaped up, and without further ado, let's talk about Freddy, Jason, and Ash. Hey everyone, welcome to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
Got Jaime and Fuego here.
And we are here to continue our coverage of the Freddy comic book universe with Freddy versus Jason versus Ash.
Yes.
So this is the 7th installment of our Freddy comic book coverage.
Indeed.
We will have one more installment because there was a Freddy versus Jason versus Ash 2.
Nightmare Warriors.
So that is going to be what we review finally. And this one was intended, in case you didn't know, this was the intended sequel for Freddy vs. Jason.
Yeah, a script for it and everything.
Indeed. So everything within this story actually began way back in Jason Goes to Hell, because that was laying the groundwork for Freddy vs. Jason back in the day. Not only the glove, but the Necronomicon was in it as well.
That's right, and that's something Robert Duell, I should say, our buddy here for the show. So yes, reminded us.
Indeed, he reminded us of, and it comes into play in this. Because Freddy vs. Jason happened, and this picks up after Freddy vs. Jason. So we're going to go ahead and do this review like we do all of our comic reviews. We'll talk about the story, and then we'll talk about the actual artwork and how it fits into the continuity, its own continuity at this point, basically. So Fuego, why don't you go ahead and start off with this one, and I'm going to fish through the artwork and show everyone. But first, let's give proper credit where credit's due here.
Indeed.
So we do have the credits here. It's Jeff Katz doing the story. We have James Anthony Kvorik doing the script.
Yep, so that's where you see the basis of inspiration.
Jason Craig doing the art, with Rick Burchett doing the storytelling. I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, so that makes me wonder how much was revised.
Thomas
in,
Mason doing the
later
colors,
issues and stuff.
I don't know. Well, as I flip through, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
But the idea behind this one actually starts off interestingly, because the idea of Freddy vs. Jason is that Springwood is not that far from Crystal Lake.
Exactly. Yeah.
And in this one, it actually starts up with a S-Mart popping up in
right next to Crystal Lake.
next to Crystal Lake and Springwood.
Yeah, so you know that can't be good, and of course
Go ahead,
there's some cannon fodder that we get from the kids who are actually working there, and more so than anything else is the interesting way that they tie in.
They recap the Freddy vs. Jason-ness of it all right here.
The film. So they do it very quickly at the beginning just to give you proper context. That silly thing, though, I must say, is the return of the 2 surviving characters from Freddy vs. Jason. And even the boyfriend is like, this is a really dumb idea. Why are we going back here? And
doesn't go well for him.
It doesn't work out very well.
No, but you can see this is a Wildstorm book that is crossing over with Dynamite Studios, and it is very gory as a result. So
yes. Yeah, Dynamite being the home of Ash and all of the Army of Darkness comics and stuff like that. So, I mean, if we're giving overall impressions, I liked a lot of the ideas that they brought to the table. Most notably, Jason's mother, you know, using the Necronomicon to bring him back to life after being drowned by those camp counts. Well, not drowned by them, but, you know, negligently not seen and then drowned in the process. And I felt like it was the perfect angle and a very just understandable spin. It made sense, and it was very well executed. They do some really cool stuff with Freddy and his use of the Necronomicon, you know, trying to escape from the dream world, so to speak, without really spoiling too much. And I don't know, Ash is much more so like forefront in this one compared to Nightmare Warriors, and so for that reason I in some ways, I prefer this book, whereas the sequel, which we're going to review later, is more fan service with all of the cameos and stuff that we get. So, I don't know. This one feels more like an Army of Darkness comic that brings in Freddy and Jason, which I appreciated. So, yeah.
I agree with that, and I think overall, it's a fun enough book.
Yeah.
There's tons of gore to be had, but it's really more of a Jason book and an Ash book than a Freddy book, whereas the next one seems more like a Freddy book. Although the back half of this becomes more Freddy-centric, it's just... This book suffers from the same thing that the movie did in that Freddy only kills, like, one person in the entire book.
And it's the same thing,
he's using Jason otherwise, and so he kills a couple in the sequel, but not many more. And so it is what it is, but it's still fun. It's just, you know, it didn't satisfy the Freddy fan in me, but it definitely satisfied the Jason fan, and the tie-ins with Ash made it interesting enough. Ash, who is caring very much about a young girl by the name of Caroline, a.k.a. Carrie, in this, and so that's kind of the long and short of the story.
Yeah, and then, I mean, we have a whole new crew of Springwood kids who are, well, I mean,
they even write the thing wrong, because it's kick a kid, ma, but whatever. What did you say? Sorry?
So all the kids that work at this S-Mart that pops up right next to Crystal Lake, I'm trying to remember, since it's been a few weeks since I read this, if they live in Springwood or if they, you know, just like work over at the S-Mart and what the connection is. But long story short, we have a whole new group of cannon fodder, which is at this S-Mart, and Ash interacts with them because he goes there to like train or something, which is kind of silly. And so
here's what's funny: we see Jason has kept Freddy's head from the end of the movie next to his mom's. It's funny because this cabin could very well be the cabin from Disappear that Vince DeSanti filmed the music video. But
shout out to our Never Hike Alone conceptual homie.
So yeah, Freddy basically starts to use Jason pretending to be his mom and sending him around doing stuff like he did in Freddy vs. Jason.
In the film,
exactly.
Yeah, but it just really gets to a point that I found interesting story-wise, at least, when Freddy essentially decides to use the Necronomicon to jump into the real world, almost a la what we had with the spiritual entity that was in New Nightmare, and he just gains the power to kill in the real world, and so it's like upping the ante for anything he can
They definitely don't shy away from the violence in this
Not at all.
Thing,
and yet, as Cecil pointed out, it's Jason doing the predominance of the grunt work, so to speak, and he is just as one note as he was in, you know,
everything else that he's been in.
It's why it's not one of my personal favorite slasher series. I mean, everybody points to
him and Michael Myers are just boring, quiet killers.
Yeah, quiet killing machines. There's no personality whatsoever. But I mean, I did like that aspect of Freddy being able to jump back and forth. And
there's one really clever kill. I thought this was fun. Where he basically
he
basically spaghettis one guy.
Jason gets into an S-Mart.
He gets into an S-Mart and starts causing some havoc.
S-Mart, the one that's right next to Crystal Lake.
So. And it doesn't go well for some people, but so you're talking about when Freddy basically gets his hand on the Necronomicon.
Oh, and that is a dope beat. So so when he's attacking, this is the kind of stuff we don't get in Nightmare Warriors. We don't get Freddy going after Ash like we do in this, and you know. That it ties in like claws with the loss of hand and all that stuff that we got in, you know, Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. Obviously, we get little mini Freddy,
mini blood Freddys. Yeah.
So
really cool stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of great ideas in this book. I mean, it's kind of cheesily executed, as you would probably imagine from these three properties all coming together. But if you're into that sort of crossover thing, it's a lot more fun than AVP was. So yeah,
I agree with that.
It's a cool continuation, and in that regard, I'm disappointed they weren't able to work out all the rights to actually make this be a film like it was initially intended. So,
but there was a point at which where they actually dip into the Freddy's dead thing, where Freddy gets the Necronomicon, and you see the Dream Demons swirl around him and sort of beef him up, and he becomes a badass Demon Freddy, which was touched upon in Freddy vs. Jason very slightly.
One of the coolest looks ever for that guy.
Indeed, and that's sort of the look. And not only that, but he actually gets if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not sure how this sat with you, Fuego.
Well, they kind of focused on him with that look for a little bit.
They do. They focus on him with that look.
Much more so than the one scene we get where he jumps out of the water in the Versus film.
Yeah, it's just 10 seconds, but you see him very much in this demon form throughout the rest of this book, which
and that's him going after Carrie.
Man, I absolutely love. Yeah, he's going after Carrie, and obviously Ash is trying to protect him, but they do something with Freddy where they actually, he carves an upside down cross.
Check it out.
Yeah, so
it's cool.
Demon Freddy gets crazy and he carves an upside down cross.
I like
How
that pose,
cool
man.
is that? It looks so dope.
Mm.
Like it's a little Green Goblin-esque.
It is
a little Green Goblin-esque, but he's
ears,
Red Goblin.
With the ears especially.
But he still looks so cool, and I like that his teeth are showing through his cheek.
And that's a good segue into the artwork and just our thoughts on the visual appearance of this book.
I thought it was gorgeously presented.
Agreed. Yes.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Finely detailed, gorgeously presented.
I like the art in
You
this
still
one.
get Freddy versus Jason here towards the end. You see that Jason's face is deteriorated, so now his teeth are basically Skull Jason, which
they really,
follows through on the next series.
Yeah, they really emphasize the fact that Jason is a Deadite. And that's the one thing that I don't think we've mentioned just yet, is that Jason is totally a Deadite, and that is the big thing that, like, hinges upon, it's like a big story element here, in the fact that that's how his mother was able to raise him up, you know, with the Necronomicon and everything.
So Jason has always been a Deadite.
Always, yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it was after, what, part 6 or whatever, that, like, he was, like,
well, no, his mother his mother raised him originally.
Well, I know that, but, I mean, didn't they not make Jason, like, undead?
They didn't make him a zombie
movie?
until 6, yeah. But nonetheless, if it was something his mother did, it would have had to have happened in number 1.
Yeah.
Because she got her head lopped off at the end of number 1.
True.
So yeah, and then at some point, Jason goes full-on Child's Play 2.
Yeah.
And ends up stuffing his machete into his arm because he gets his arm cut off.
Yeah. So he looks like Blade from Puppet Master, basically.
A little bit he does. And there's this big showdown between Freddy and Jason and Ash.
Yep, and he gets sucked into the same, like, Freddy gets sucked into the same, like, vortex that Ash gets sucked into.
At the end of Army of Darkness,
or at the beginning of Evil Dead 2 into
I'm sorry, at the end of Evil Dead 2 into Army of Darkness, correct.
Yep, and then...
But he gets the Necronomicon kind of comes with him, too, but then it gets spit back out.
Yep. Which plays directly into the sequel we're going to be reviewing next for you guys.
Indeed.
Next
So
week,
the Necronomicon gets spit out. It lands on the ice. Jason has been felled and dropped into an icy grave by a car. And Freddy's been sucked into a place.
And yet, as we obviously know, because
That's the first issue. I got the Freddy cover, so you can see the full cover put together.
Yeah, but they really double down throughout this series, especially in the sequel as well, on the fact that Jason dies, but he's never dead because he's undead. And so he's almost like slumbering, like, you know.
Let me show the actual individual covers.
Yes, indeed.
So here we go. So this was the first cover. I got the Freddy cover. You saw all 3 of them put together, but I got the Freddy cover.
The matchup you've been waiting for.
Indeed, indeed. So I like that one. And then the second issue is the cover of your trade.
Exactly.
So I like that. That one is a pretty cool damn cover. Issue number 3 was...
That one's cool.
Pretty sweet. Now, the second series has 5 of the covers connect. 2 connect with each other and 3 connect with each other, and then there's the first one by itself.
Yeah, and also dude that I like so much, who I bought tons of his Marvel Zombies prints.
Arthur Sweetum.
Yeah.
Yep. That's issue number 4 with all 3 of them on there.
Yeah.
And then issue number 5 also has all of them on there.
That's another really cool
That's
one.
a really good one.
Mm.
There's always one of them looking over the rest. See? And then number 6. The Jason eyes. Wait till you see the second series covers because they're really, really dope.
Yeah, I spent way too much money on the trade for that second series. Like, I'm like,
you spent money on the trade?
The trade, dude. The trade is out of print and usually sells for around $100. The trade.
The trade does.
The sequel to this, Nightmare Warrior, sells for retarded amounts of money. I ended up.
Let's correct ourselves. We don't say the R word here. Special needs amount of money.
Oh, so
we can't say the R word anymore, sir. We're not allowed to anymore. All right, let me just cut around it.
That's what
say your sentence without it.
Yeah, so the sequel to this, the actual trade sells for ridiculous amounts of money. That's a better R word than the one that I used previously, right?
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah,
way to let the
sure.
audience in on it. No, so what do the original issues sell for? Because I have
like
those.
dude, they sell for like $15 to $20 each.
Well, but if the trade is 100 and 15 to 20 bucks each for 6 issues,
six
then it's
issues.
100 anyway.
Well, I mean, 6 issues, about 20 a pop. I mean, that's, you know, like 115, 120. I mean, I don't know.
So you get
It's
an
just-
extra 20 bucks for having the original issues versus a trade?
Well, the
That's not worth it.
Well, I mean, this trade sells for like 15, 20 bucks for the trade to the sequel to sell for so much money.
That's fair.
I just found
really
it
so
incredibly
because it
aggravating.
has so many characters from the actual movies.
Yep. And
So
it
yeah,
was a lower
guys,
print run, unsuccessful.
if you've been watching these, or even if you haven't, the next Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash actually has a collection of survivors from both series.
Those are the Nightmare Warriors.
So the Nightmare Warriors are 4 different survivors from the Nightmare series and 4 different survivors from the Jason series joining up to fight them both.
It's a drastically different book than this one.
Drastically different.
Completely
So
different
we're
in
excited to
tone,
review that
story.
for you, but that's going to be our review for this. And actually, I don't even think I gave many of my own opinions other than to say I enjoyed the story. I think the gore is great, but the story is still very surface level. It's
Sugary
still
fan
not
service,
enough
right?
Freddy for me. We get way more Freddy in the second series for sure, especially
totally do.
Big Metal Freddy. That was kind of
yeah.
cool. But this is definitely still a Jason and Ash story, which isn't bad, but it just wasn't that great for me because I love Freddy the most. The artwork was great, very crisp, very detailed, you know, bold lines, that kind of thing. So I was on board for that, although it was a little inconsistent at times.
Truly, yeah.
But
honestly, I had more fun with some of the other crossovers that Ash has done with like
Oh, yeah.
Dracula and with Reanimator and different
Xena
things like
even.
that. Yeah, exactly. So this one, I mean, with these heavy hitters involved, it could have been better.
Could have been better. So let us know what you guys think if you've read this in the comments down below. If you haven't, are you going to seek it out? Are you going to shell out that dough to get your hands on it? I'm surprised they haven't done a reissue of the trade at some point. But well, you said this trade is cheaper.
This
so you
is the
can
one
get
that's
your
less
hands,
expensive.
you can
compared
get your
to the
hands on
sequel.
this. If
Yeah.
you like it, and then you want to watch the sequel or read the sequel, then that'll cost you a pretty penny. But if you guys enjoyed this, click the like button down below and subscribe to make sure you don't miss our final Freddy comic book review, which is Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash Part 2. But yeah, we're going to be reviewing that. And if you guys didn't know, we are currently still running our campaign for Dylan's New Nightmare. It is a Nightmare Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street fan film that is a unofficial sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare, and it's going to be starring Miko Hughes himself, reprising his role as Dylan Porter. It's very exciting, you guys. We're pumped to bring this to you. So if you want to contribute or at least check out the campaign and possibly share it to your family and friends, any Freddy lover you might know, share it out to them. We just crossed 20,000 as we're recording this, so we're getting close. We want to make sure that we present as good a Freddy film as we possibly can. So thank you guys very much for watching. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
And gracias up and Jaime Fuego.
Thank you to all of our patrons as well. And until next time, remember, stay scared.